I'm gonna give a quick explanation of the die boxed or drop box. I'm sorry, drop box, which is the little gimmick that goes inside of the card box. This is I gave away my other stripper deck that is a newer stripper deck. This is done with an older deck of cards, and you'll notice that the older boxes are actually a little bit tighter than the newer boxes. So I recommend, if you can get uh, um, uh, it doesn't matter what stripper deck you use, but put this in a newer box, not the older style box. But this will work fine for the explanation. So you have a classic stripper deck here. So if the one card gets turned over, pushed in, you can see it sticking out, and all you do is swipe down, and of course that one card comes out. I recommend pencil dotting the cards in your favorite position on the top or whatever to delineate which side is the thicker side or which side is the thinner side. These are not pencil dotted. I like to use a blue marker that's exactly the same color as this, or a red marker, so that I know, okay, this side over here is the thicker side, just so that when they're returning cards in the deck, I can know which way that they have to return into the deck. Because if these are the pencil dotted cards and this is not the pencil dotted card, I know that card has to be turned around to be able to go back into the deck to where it can strip out, right? So the process of the first part of this is you have two spectators pick a card, right? Now the cards are going to go into the deck, but they're going to get reversed as they get placed back into the deck. I'm looking over here. There's the mark here. There's no mark here, no mark here. That's how I know that they're going in the right way. So they go back into the deck and they get squared up. Now, because the stripper deck, right, they're the two cards are there. I can just strip them out, but now I can fairly insert them in the deck and give them a fair shuffle, right? Because I'm fully under control of those two cards because of the stripper deck. Now I'm going to need to get those two cards into the onto one on top of another into the middle of the deck. And there's lots of different ways you come up with your own handling for this, but the simplest handling is by stripping them out just a little bit, like this here, to give you a really good perch on them. Of course, the audience is out there; they're not going to be looking straight down. And then just cutting the deck, stripping the deck out, right? And then those two cards are going to go straight to the top of the deck. So the two force cards is the ace and the four, right? So now you can see I have both of them on top of the deck, right? I'll do that one more time. And you could do this in multiple passes depending on where they are in the deck. You could do little packets of cards, right? That time that it went down, that's fine. I brought one to the top. Now I can just do it again. And now I have both to the top of the deck. So once they get to the top of the deck, I then turn them over. I cut about half of the cards and then shuffle half of the cards on top of those two cards. So they land up in the center of the deck just like that. One thing that I do recommend, which I forgot to do, is just because card boxes are still kind of tight, no matter what you do, I normally take out four random cards and put them to the side. That gives me a little bit more space in the deck, in the box, with four cards out. And depending on your card box and the cards and how thick they were cut, you might need less, you might need a little bit more. You could kind of experiment with that. So I find four is a pretty general good number. So now I have the two cards next to each other in the middle of the deck. It doesn't matter; it doesn't have to be exactly the middle. They go into the box, and then because of the way this is made, the the wedge where you strip out the thick side of the cards is going to go down into the deck, right? And you're going to hold it about halfway in the box like this. Now you're going to let it fall, and you can give it a little tap like this. And any cards that stick up, you can kind of just push down a little bit more. Again, this is a older style box, so that it's a little bit tighter. But that's basically what's going to happen. It's basically going to give you an automatic double lift in the center of the deck with both the selections like this. So when that falls down in the deck, I'll do it again. So when that falls down the deck like this, right, this goes in the box, and then boom, like that. And then sometimes that front card, you can just push it down a little bit, right? So that gives you that ability like that right there. One more time. Thick part of the two cards go in there like this, right? And then boom, just like that. Now, what you're gonna do is you say, "Was that your card?" Right? Now, as you do this, say your card was the four hearts, the spectator. This is gonna turn face down, and it's gonna basically push that card down into the deck, and then a little bit, then this finger's gonna grab it like this and continue pushing it down as this card gets stripped out. Now this card's gonna face you, and you say, "Watch." If we wave over the top of the deck, what was your card, sir? They'll say the ace of spades, because they think this is the four hearts. You say, "Watch." Say, "Watch." The four hearts is going to rise out of the ace of spades is going to rise out of the deck, just like this here. And you do some funny gags, you do some acting, and eventually this hand starts rising. As they say, sir, say it louder, "Rise, rise, rise." And when they start yelling, "Rise, rise, rise," this hand starts moving up and up and up and up, as if this card is actually rising, right? As this card is rising, it's red. And then when you turn it, you notice this card rising, you pretend to grab it. You say, "What was your card, sir?" "The ace of spades." "The ace of spades," just like that. Yes, so that's the first part of this here. The second kind of cool thing that you can do with this deck of cards is that, excuse me, is that if they pick a card, right? I don't know if that was the right way. Yeah. So if they pick a card and it gets turned around and placed in the deck, right? Now you can have it shuffled, right? Or you can shuffle it. And doesn't matter where it lands up, you don't need to control it. All you're going to do is take it, put it in the card box, and squish them down inside, right? Now, basically, what that does is that locks that card in there. Now you can say, you guys, wait a second, did you shuffle the cards? I said, wait a second. Here, and you hold the cards like this here, and you dump them into their hands. You dump all the cards in your hand, you give the card box a little shake, right? To prove that there's nothing. You take a quick look in there. Sometimes this happens. Again, this is an older deck of cards, so some could be trapped in there. So you double check, and you'll know where their card is, because it'll be kind of like the same position it was in the deck, right? So so you dump them out like this here in their hands. So give it a shuffle. Now you're going to close this card box up, and you could do whatever you like here. You get the cards back and say, "I tell you what, we'll do a different trick. Watch. If I just snap my hands just like that, your card comes all the way to the top of the deck." And by the way, when you're closing this box up, you can get a peek of what their card is at that moment, the ace of spades, right? And you say, "Watch." You do this. Your card jumps to the top of the deck, the ace of spades. Yes. Now you could do some type of rubber dub dub vanish, whatever you like, right? That I've been doing this since I was a little kid. The normal rubber dub's straight like this here, and then your thumb drags it over the top of the deck. I've always done it this way, where it's on an angle, and it rotates around your finger like that, right? So as you come over like this here, the card goes, and you say, "Look, look." Shoot, it vanishes completely. It's not here anymore, right? It's actually here invisible. Take the invisible card, you drop it on top of the card box. Now you can open up the card box and say, "Look, there's one card inside, the ace of spades." And so that's a little easy no palm card to box with the drop box gimmick. So I hope you have some fun and come up with some cool things with it.